right, good evening, everyone. Good evening, come on. All right, good to see everybody. I'm Mindy Molaski, I am the principal, and we are excited. This is the biggest crowd we have had for Middle School 101, so give yourselves applause. Yes. We are also streaming it, so I know that people are going to want to pull out their cell phones and take pictures of things that they see on the screen. You can watch it later. Just sit back and listen to the things that we have for you, because we want to make sure that we're getting all the information. It's going to be a lot very quickly. All right, we know that there are some things that are happening. There's concerts going on tonight. There's a board meeting. There's sporting events. That's why we moved this up to 6:15. 6:15 might be the sweet spot, it looks like, in between that we have so many people here. This presentation is mainly geared to parents. We will be going to LIS on June 9th, right? Yeah. June 9th. We're going on June 9th, and we will be going with our house leaders, and you'll see who they are. You'll meet them on screen tonight. And we will be going with some of our ambassadors. So they will hear from the kids as well as from the adults. So they get a little bit of a different presentation, but pretty similar to this. This is mainly academic, and then also the climate and culture of our school, what we believe in, who we are, how we want you to be involved as parents. All right, because that's the biggest piece here. How can you help us? How can we team together? How are we going to get through the two probably most difficult years, right? These are the years that everything is changing for them. They're going to come in, they're going to look a certain way when they first get here, and then they're going to be maybe 5 inches taller when they leave, and then they're going to have lots of beliefs in between. So we're going to help you navigate those 2 quick years. Lots of familiar faces I've seen tonight. And I'm glad that you're back. Welcome. There's some things that are different. We changed many things after COVID, and we have a new schedule, we have some new courses, but we are still LMS Nation, and we're really proud of that. All right, so we're going to keep going here, and just go past that one, so it doesn't go to the video. All right, so a little bit about me. I've been here for 31 years. Yeah, you can clap for that. My entire career has been in Lawrence Township. I started off as a high school teacher. I then became the dean of students. I was the assistant principal at the high school. There's some people in this room that I was their teacher. Yeah, she's brave. Yes, you can raise your hands. It's okay. Don't be shy. So I was your teacher. I might have been your assistant principal as well. Yes. And then I moved over here to be assistant principal, and then I've been principal here. This is where I get lost. I think since 2011, I've been the principal here. But I was the swim coach at the high school. I was the cheerleading coach at the high school. You're going to see a pattern of that when Adrienne introduces herself. I'm a graduate of, I like to say, Trenton State. That was my undergrad, and I have a master's degree from Rider, and I have a doctorate from Rider as well. And there's my friends. You might notice that there's Dr. Fisher, and then Dr. Adam, and then Dr. Williams. Those are the high school principals, and we were all in the same cohort for our doctorate program. And then these are my little friends. I need to probably update their pictures. I'm a proud auntie to these guys. These guys are now 20 and 18, so I definitely need to update that picture. And these guys are 7 and 6, but they're too cute like that, right? So we're going to keep that one. All right, let's hear from Dr. Wasserleben.
Hi, good evening, everyone. One, thank you so much for taking the time to come out tonight. So a little bit about myself. I've been working in the district for 12 years now. This is my first year at the middle school as an administrator. But prior to that, and the pattern that Dr. Molaski was referring to, is that I was a student. I went through the high school, and Dr. Molaski was actually, she was the cheer coach when I had gone for cheerleading trials my freshman year at high school. So we're kind of coming full circle, which is a really neat experience. We both come from the same background. I've been teaching in district for the past 11 years prior to coming to the middle school, health and PE and driver education. So I'm looking around, I do see some familiar faces as well. Education is a big part of my life, and I'm very grateful for that. But if you notice at the very heart and the core, Lawrence really is where my love for learning, teaching, and just being part of One Nation has really come into fruition. So I'm very fortunate to be here. Outside of work, I am a mom of two, so wearing many hats, but I'm very happy to be here and very, very excited to be working with all of you.
She needs a clap. All right, so let's take a moment and read through our mission statement. Oh, sorry. I'm gonna let you silently read it. So this is where we're going to ask for some audience participation. Is there any words on here that stand out to you, that are important to you? Go ahead. Perseverance. Independence. In the back. Effort. Yes. Global citizens. Personal responsibility. Safe. Yes. One more in the back. Go ahead. Diligence. So usually I'll highlight this, and we talk about this at the beginning of our orientations with kids as well. And safe and nurturing environment. You know, we talk to the kids about, we want to make sure this building is physically safe, right? You've noticed, if when you walk through the halls, you might have been looking around and you noticed that there was we have a new clock system, we have a new security system, we have a double door in the front now that you have to buzz in twice to get into our building. So safety is important, but not just from the people on the outside coming in, what we do during the day here, right? So are kids being kind? Are kids being respectful to each other? Are we treating each other with love and appreciation? You know, we talk about love. Yeah, we love our kids, and we want to show that. And that's important, right? Our teachers come to school every day. They work hard for your kids. They work hard for this community. They love your kids. But we need to keep them safe. We also want to make sure that they're safe to take risks, safe to be who they want to be. Those are academic risks. Those are social risks, right? Trying out for a team, trying out for the play for the first time. That's scary. So all those other words come into play. Effort, perseverance, diligence, personal responsibility. You're probably shaking your head, how's that going to happen? Their room is a mess. They're so disorganized. They forget their homework. They don't bring they have one sneaker, not the other. They're wearing two different color shoes. It's going to keep going. And then it happens again when they're 50. So don't worry, it's all twofold. But we are going to persevere. You're going to persevere as parents, and then they're going to persevere as kids. But we want to make sure that we are providing that environment where kids feel safe. Moving on. So how do we do that, right? So what you can expect is that you're going to have a caring student environment here, and that you're going to have an excellent faculty. We are proud of our faculty. They, as I said, they work very hard to plan a very challenging curriculum. It's going to be difficult at times. You are going to want to do some of the work for them. Should you? No. You're looking at, who are you looking at? Somebody doing your work right now? Right? And let me just tell you, I will call you out. I'm that kind of person. So yeah, there will be a challenging curriculum. You're going to want to, yes, you can help. Yes, you want to give a watchful eye. All of those things. You want to give reminders. You want to set up routines, but they got to do the work. Right? They got to do the work. And that's going to be painful for you at times. right? It's going to be painful to see the 60 or the 65 on a test or a quiz. That's okay. We'll get through it. Okay? We're going to work on how to get better. Okay? We pride ourselves on open communication back and forth. You're going to get weekly newsletters from us. You're going to see things posted on Facebook. You're going to see things posted on Instagram. You're going to see things on our LMS Nation page, the website, and then you're going to say to me that you didn't see it and we didn't post something. Yes, you're waving to me or you're waving to me? Okay, hi. Okay. So it's there. You might have to look, but just call us. I beg of you, please, call us. We're the ones who know. Yes, your neighbors are great, and there's always the people that know, but those Facebook pages that are not necessarily LMS Nation, they don't know. We know. So if you need information, call us. We have a great secretary staff, Mrs. Pressman, Mrs. Coleman, Mrs. North. They would be happy to help you or direct you to where to find the information. All right, because there's tons of information, and sometimes that can be overwhelming, and you need it quick. We can help you with that. Social emotional development, big part of being in middle school. Lots of things are happening and changing, but as we said, all those other words, we want you to be safe, and we want to be able to take risks, and we want to be able to do things in that safe environment. Our next slide. So what can you do as parents? The social emotional piece. It's the self-awareness, self-management, relationships. When we talk about relationships, we're not talking about romantic relationships. We're going to talk about some of that, right? But we're talking about the relationships that they have with their friends, relationships they have with their teachers, relationships that they have with you. Because there's going to be things they can't tell you. So we have to help them. We might have to coach them to have those difficult conversations. So there's relationship skills. There's social awareness. What's around you? What's happening around you? Right? Can you see beyond? You're shaking your head. So can you see beyond just the person you're talking to next to you? Can you see beyond the walls of Lawrence Middle School? And then that's responsible decision making. There's going to be times that they're going to get detention. They're going to make a mistake. They may even get suspended. It's okay. You probably will punish them at home as well. You'll take away their phone. You will take away all their electronics. They'll have to go to bed at a certain time. That should happen anyway. But we're going to make mistakes. We are not going to be perfect as a staff. We're going to mess up. Kids are going to mess up. Parents are going to mess up. But then we have to come together. That open communication is going to be important, and we got to listen to each other so that we can move forward and get to that next place, which is really to get your kid to be successful, right? That's what we want. Next slide. So those parent things. We want you to show interest. We talked about personal responsibility, but we need to have our kids have some independence, right? We want to help our kids, but we don't want to rescue them. There needs to be some natural consequences. Encourage your child to advocate for themselves. Encourage your child to write the email to the teacher. You can help them with that email, right? That's difficult, but help them do that. But don't rescue them. Don't you just pick up the phone. Let them try to work it out first. Let them have that struggle, okay? I beg of you, monitor their technology. On the way in, I had a parent say to me that they're worried about some things that have happened at LIS, concerned, and I will tell you, the biggest issue is the phone. If you don't monitor it, that's where the stuff is going to go bad. It's your phone. You pay for it, parents. They don't make any money. So take the phone. It's yours. Because If they're hiding it from you and you are not linked to all of the things, that means something bad's going on. So I beg of you to monitor their technology. They should not be in their room when they're sleeping at night. Get an alarm clock. Yeah, what? Yeah. Get an alarm clock. The Rise and Shine ones are great, right? The whole room lights up. Because they're going to be tired. They're teenagers. They're tired all the time. So make the room shine with that alarm clock and take their phone at night, because one of the things we have on their email and all their stuff is a filter. The other thing is I monitor the Instagram page. I see the 2 a.m. like. I see the 3 a.m. like. So it shouldn't be in their room. Games. They're playing video games. Shouldn't be in their room. Do it in a place that is out where you are so you can be monitoring them. Listening to the conversations, whoever they're having them with, the games that they're playing. All right, the other thing is, big thing here is, we want to look for the greatness. Your kids are awesome. That was all the bad stuff I said. But there's great things that they do with their electronics too, right? They have greatness. Praise them for it. Tell them how much you love them and care for them. When they want to share something, tell them how awesome it is. Because we're going to be doing that the same here. Acknowledge their greatness. Oh, no, 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 no. That's the one, no, no. Yeah, thank you. Greatness. Praise it. I got a thing about the auditorium. Learn it now in the back row. We come in and line in. We never go over the seats. All right, moving on. Yes? Somebody had something? We're going to do questions at the end. We're going to go quick now. All right. Facts about us. We got 7th and 8th graders. We got about approximately 600 kids in this school. The classes run between 280, maybe up to 290 at times. I think our current 7th grade is getting close to 290. We had a lot of kids move in this year. My guess is that's going to continue. We got math. We got language arts. We got science. We got social studies. We got art, communications, and technology. This year, only our 7th graders got that. Next year, everyone's going to, 7th and 8th graders will have it. In 8th grade, they will get to choose between one of 3 languages, either Chinese, French, or Spanish. In the 7th grade year, you're going to hear tonight about world language exploration so that they can make that decision and have a decision of what they want to take. We have health and phys ed, of course. We have instrumental music groups. We have choral groups. We have Gifted in Town. We have team activities. We have 2 school counselors. We have a child study team. We have special ed. We got technology. We got ASI, ESL. We're a school. We got it. All right? We got tons of stuff. Moving on. This is how you can stay connected to us. You can check your Genesis. How many of you raise your hands? How many of you check Genesis? Keep your hands up. Who checks it? Put your hand down if you only check it once a week. If you only check it twice a week. If you check it 3 times a week. Do you check it 5 times a week? No. It's not healthy. Put the hand down. Do not check it 5 days a week. We're not looking for greatness then. You're looking to get them on something. They might miss an assignment. The grade book is live. It may not be accurate. And then what's happening? You yell at your kid. What do? They yell back. And then you're angry. Right? It's not worth it. Love them. It's not worth it. I'm going to pull the 5 days. I'll give you 2. That's it. And that's a lot. Who should be checking their grades? Yes. There you go. Good job back there. All right. Parent access to Genesis. You can find lots of information. That's where the grades and attendance are. Okay? LTPS website. That's where all the information is. You need to know something, we usually post it there. The announcements are there, the daily announcements, our scrolling all the time, our video announcements of why the kids are there. Google Classroom. Who can tell me what Google Classroom is? I got a parent with their hand up. What's Google Class? Somebody over here with their hand, you've got Google Classroom? Do you go on it? Yeah. Who's it really for though? Students, right? Like, you can go on, but you're gonna see your inbox. You think my inbox, if I showed it to you, you went, whoo, your inbox will get loaded up. There will be lots of assignments. Okay, so Google Classroom, that's where you sit next to your kid and they show you what's happening in the class, right? That's the board where they might be submitting, there might be conversation there, that's where they're submitting assignments, there might be materials there to do an assignment. All right, so that's what Google Classroom is. Alert now, you're gonna get phone messages from me, you're gonna get tired of hearing my voice, you're gonna get email messages from LMS Nation. How many people got the email from us? You got here, so that's pretty good, okay. Facebook, Quick News has stuff. We have a Twitter. Our Twitter is usually about professional to reach out to other schools, to the world, to say how great we are. And all of that. So we gear that as a professional. And then Instagram is really for our kids, right? We're posting, but you can go there. We post lots of fun things. Like today, we beat Princeton softball 20-2, so we're gonna post some pictures on that, right? Yeah. And our baseball team won today as well against Princeton. So you'll be seeing stuff. That's what we like to post. We like to post what's happening in school, kids on LMS Nation. And everything's LMS Nation. So it's pretty easy. Our Twitter's LMS Nation, our Instagram's LMS Nation, and our Facebook's LMS Nation. All right. So we talked about being safe inside, right? We have a cardinal code. And we're really going to go over this with our kids. We'll do this at all the orientations. Good? Okay. Okay. So we have being ready, being respectful, and being responsible. We define what that looks like. What does it look like in the hallways? What does it look like in class? What does it look like in the gym? What does that look like in the locker room? You'll see their signs all over. Each week, kids can earn tickets. We put tickets in the bin. We have prizes on Friday. They can win pretzels. They can win donuts, they can win lots of different things that we have, lots of prizes, t-shirts, and that's by being all of these things and following our cardinal code, okay? All right, check out the time. Well, I'm not kidding you. I don't joke. I am funny, but I don't joke about the time you gotta be here at school. All right, so this is a big change. And as you can hear the chatter, they're gonna have to go to bed early. So, building opens around 7:25. We usually let them in about 7:20. School begins at 7:40. They're out at 2:25. All right? They have to go home in the same way they got here. So if they took a bus, they should take a bus. If you drove them, you can drop them. You come pick them up, please. And then if they walk, they can walk. If they are going to go somewhere else, number one, they cannot go on a bus with somebody else. If they tell you they can go on their friend's bus, they're fibbing you. They are not telling you the truth. They cannot go on another bus. The bus driver will not let them. They will have a bus pass. Okay? If they're walking, you should write a note to say that they are walking. It is not a car line here. We're not checking to see who they're getting in. They leave here, they should be going directly home. If you're giving them permission to go somewhere else, you need to make sure that they know where that somewhere else is, and you need to monitor where that is. I highly suggest to you, again, I told you about the phone. I'm going to be honest with you. Don't let them go to varsity after school. Thank you. And I don't say that to be mean. There's things that happen there. Sometimes kids don't behave appropriately. Sometimes they leave in a mess. And guess who gets a call? Not necessarily you parents, me. I get it from the police. Okay? That they want me to identify people. So that's why I tell you, you're going to help me out. So I would appreciate that. But also, if they are going to go there, then you need to set the limit, right? How long are they going to be there? What their behavior is. Remind them to be good citizens of our community. Because Dunkin' Donuts Varsity support us, so we want to make sure we are good citizens of our community. Let's move on. Thanks. All right, we have a house structure. House of Phoenix, House of Orion, and House of Draco. We have 3 house leaders. That's on the next slide, the 3 house leaders. And we have House of Draco is Mrs. Reynolds. Orion is Mrs. Strominger. Phoenix is Miss Bozar. Now, some of you, as I said, you might have already been here, right? Your younger children or your older children have already been through Lawrence Middle School. So there's like pride in a house. I respect that. However, we can't always necessarily do that, okay? For those of you who say, well, I really made a relationship with those teachers, we change the teachers all the time. It's different teachers. Almost every other year, so you may not be getting those same teachers. The curriculum is the same in every single house. You might say, well, Dr. Malasky, my kid isn't going to come to school because they need to be with their friends. That's good. We don't want them to be with their friends. I'm kidding. But we don't want them to be a distraction, right? And here's what happens. You come to see me, and you're like, Dr. Malasky, my kid really needs to be with these 4 people. You come and you tell me, I don't want my kid with so-and-so. And now I have to keep that secret. I don't want to keep that secret. I will. I'll honor that. We are going to get a list from LIS of everything about your child academically. I'm going to look through every single child's academics. I'm going to look at their discipline. I'm going to look at their test scores. I'm going to look at all the things that the guiding counselors say about them. I'm going to talk to Dr. Fisher, and I'm going to have an understanding of your child. We are then going to have, this summer, we are going to have some office hours for parents and kids to come in so that you can tell me a little bit about your child, and we can also have a very straight conversation about the expectations that we have here. Never done that before, but we're going to be sending that out for you very soon for you to sign up this summer to have those mini meetings. That mini meeting is going to you're going to be able to tell us a little bit about your child, and then we're also going to show you some things about the school, how you get in. Like tonight, a lot of people came in the back. You really should park in the main parking lot. This was the test, right, of could you get into the building, right? So you really should park in the main parking lot when you're coming for any events. We use the back for sporting. So if you're coming for a basketball game, you're coming to pick your kid up for field hockey, for soccer or something like that, you're usually going to pick up in the back unless we tell you otherwise. We usually use Circle Drive for those kids that are in the drama production. But parking, main lot. There's not enough spaces in the back. If we had teachers all here, that would be filled. During the school day, we only use door 1 in the front. We do not let anybody in the back. All right, so you have to come to door 1. But back to the house system. They will see their friends. They move throughout the building. There are classes that are off house, so they'll see their friends there. The lunches are mixed. We do them by grade level, so only 7th grade eats at one time. We have 2 lunches for 7th grade, 2 lunches for 8th grade. Okay? I'm not answering questions right now, okay, honey? Moving on. All right, these are our instructional supervisors that you're going to meet tonight. Some are here, some are not. But if you have questions about music, Miss Amick can answer that. You might know her if you went to Eldridge Park. Miss Burke is the math and science K-6, but she's also the technology supervisor K-12. So some of these people you are going to be with for 6 years now. They are 7 through 12 or 6 through 12 or K through 12 supervisors. Next slide. Melanie Philmeyer is the Guidance and Career College Readiness. She is a district supervisor K to 12. You might have met her before. You might have met Ms. Hayes, and she is the English, Social Studies, World Language K6, but she is in charge of librarians from K to 12. And then here's our supervisors that you're going to see tonight. Sarah Foster's here. She's a math science supervisor, and she's going to tell you lots of stuff about math. She's also the art supervisor K-12, and then Dr. Pancoast is here. She's English, Social Studies, World Language from here on up, and she's also the English as a Second Language K through 12. Next up is Ms. Sasse. There she is, okay. She's the special education supervisor, grades 7 through graduation. And then Mr. Amarana is our director of athletics. All right, so I think I've done enough talking, and I'm going to turn the microphone over, I think, to Dr. Pancoast. All right.
Hi, everybody. Thank you so much for coming in. Dr. Orlowski, I think this is a record number of folks here. I'm really excited that you're all here tonight. I'm Mary Pancoast. I've been in the district now for 7 years. Prior to that, I was an English teacher, long time ago now. But I, as Mindy mentioned, supervise English as a second language, social studies, and the world language departments here in the district. And it's just a wonderful, wonderful place to be. I'll have Dr. Wasserleben go to the next slide. I'm going to talk first about the English program. So what we try to do here in the middle school is we try to address each of the modalities of English in different classes in different ways. So you're going to see some different things that you've seen from the intermediate school. In 7th grade, English 7 and English 8 in 8th grade is where we focus on fiction. So we focus on novels, we do a whole class novel, and the expectation is that your child reads a lot. I heard somebody say yay. That makes me very, very happy. So you should be reading a lot. Please read what you're interested in. In 7th grade, we hit on science fiction and fantasy, as well as our diverse perspectives unit. But there are two topics that really haven't been discussed in depth at the intermediate school, so we'll do a little deeper dive here at the middle school. In the writing class, it's all nonfiction writing all of the time. Typically at the intermediate school, you're reading a book, you're writing about it. This writing course is real world writing, and we expect our students to develop pieces that they would be able to publish. So they'll be doing a lot of draft work. And from what I hear, the 7th graders really enjoyed it this year. So I'm really happy with that course. Our 8th grade course, again, in English 8, it's fiction. So we have historical fiction, dystopia, and drama. This year, I think we read 12 Angry Men, which is one of my favorite plays. We have a communications class. So yes, you will be speaking in front of your peers. Nobody's excited for that. You're excited for that. Yes, I see you. Yes, I'm glad that you guys are excited for the communications class. And actually, that communications class is one of the students' most favorite class, dare I say. We just had an interview competition with the 8th grade. We invited members of the community to come in and interview our students, and they did a fantastic job. The members of the community and our students. Everybody did a fantastic job. It was wonderful. We also have nonfiction seminars. So in that course, we're taking a deep dive on some nonfiction strategies and really taking a look at some of the rhetorical choices that authors make. So throughout English, fiction, nonfiction, speaking and listening, and writing. So we hit it all here at the middle school. If you are enrolled in the English as a Second Language class, you may also participate in one of these English classes depending on your level of English proficiency. So we do follow the state guidelines on measuring and assessing your English proficiency and keep a monitor on you as you develop your skills in academic English. And you can go to the next slide, and I think I'm going to talk about social studies. I am, it's exciting. So 7th grade is where we have our American history course. By law, it's Laura Wooten's law, we have incorporated these civics standards into our class. So half of the course is a dedicated study of civics, and the other half of the course is a thematic approach to American history. So currently in 6th grade, you have ancient history. Our 7th grade course, really, as Dr. Malofsky said, we want students who are good citizens and to be respectful of our town. So that really addresses a lot of what we share as values of as Americans. The rest of the course is organized thematically, so most courses throughout the state stop at the Civil War. We try to look at common themes in American history throughout time. So for example, A Growing America, we're going to talk about westward expansion, but we're also going to talk about immigration and what it looked like throughout the founding of our country, throughout the 19th century, the 20th century, and today. 8th grade prepares your child for the 9th grade course. So our 9th grade course is Modern World Civilization. The 8th grade course really focuses on the world history that led up to that 9th grade course that counts for high school transcript credits. So we really try to prepare your child as best we can to be successful in the high school with that course. So we're going to take a look at different areas around the world, starting with the Americas and the Maya, Inca, Olmec, and Aztec. We move to the Byzantine Empire and a study of Islam and the Islamic world, the civilizations of Africa and Asia, and we leave off with Europe and the Middle Ages, which is where the high school course begins. Yeah, and if you want to go, world language, yes! It took me a long time to figure out the translations for all of the 7th grade world exploration courses, but I had help from our fantastic world language teachers, Senora Rivera, Madame Bea, and Lao Shi Zhi. So I practiced that one too. So in the world language exploration course, we focus a little bit, it's a project-based course where you get to explore the 3 different languages that are offered here at the middle school. So at the end of that course, which is about now, students will select what language they want to study in 8th grade. So that 8th grade course is a level 1 world language course. When they get to the high school, they are on the track to get into an AP French, Mandarin Chinese, or Spanish 1 course. So we want to provide a strong and solid foundation of world language learning here so that they will be successful up there. And I believe that it's time for Ms. Foster after this, so I will pass the mic over to her.
We'll be sharing the mic a little bit on this slide because I am only in charge of the visual arts in district, which is but a piece of the visual performing arts here, but it is a really great offering. And like Dr. Malofsky said earlier, we are excited next year to offer art to both 7th and 8th graders. Our art program in district is great, but here at LMS, it has just about everything that kids can engage in. We do drawing, we do painting, we print, we create, we sculpt. There's a kiln in the building, so kids make ceramics that get fired in the kiln. And students really enjoy the teacher, they really enjoy the program. There's art posted all over the hallways. You might have seen it as you come in, and if you haven't on your way out, you can see it right on the hallway out here for some of the amazing things kids do. And our art teacher is fabulous. She always posts things and shares things out with parents in the community in different ways. Including the visual arts, we also have some other programs.
All right, so our technology class is both for 7th and 8th graders, and they will do similar things that they did at the intermediate school. We will be doing, they do robotics, they do video, there's lots of video work. You'll see their work on our radio station, WLMS. Can you just go out in the hallway, because I'm not sure why everyone's leaving. Sorry. I'm a little distracted, I apologize. And so in technology, again, it's a 2-year course, and really Google Suite, really learning how to organize. They also do some AutoCAD where they're developing 3D modeling. So it's an exciting course, kids enjoy that. And then we have vocal music, we have a choral class. We do that during what we call Flex. So they have chorus every day. We will be sending out something for kids to sign up for chorus. Once you're in, you're in. We don't let kids drop. Okay, so you need to be serious about being in chorus, and you will be required. It is a requirement to do the concerts. There are 2 concerts, bless you. There are 2 concerts a year, a spring and a winter and a spring concert. We have musical theater, and that's for our 8th graders. They will select if they want to be in musical theater in the 8th grade year. We do that. We'll be sending something out very shortly for our 8th graders our rising 8th graders to decide their world language and if they want to be in musical theater. And then those of you that are in concert band, jazz band, and orchestra, they meet every other day, 82 minutes. We roll over the list from the intermediate school to the middle school. So if your child is in any of those ensembles and they choose not to be when they come here, then you need to send us an email and let us know that you do not want to continue anymore in the instrumentals, okay? Chorus, we'll send something out. So again, some of our co-curriculars, band, orchestra, jazz band, we have, it's now called musical theater, not performing arts for 8th grade. We have our 2 concerts, as I said. We do have a drama club, and we do a musical every spring. We are hoping that we're going to be having a renovation of this auditorium in the next 2 years. So we'll see where our show goes. We've done a show outside during the pandemic with the stage outside, so the show must go on, even if it's not in here. We have special events. We are getting ready for an art show. In a couple weeks, we'll be displaying all of the art. We've done art festivals. We've had field trips. Our kids take field trips that are in the music program. We have an art club. We do lots of community activities, and as I said, the art show. Next up, Ms. Foster again.
So back to me, but switching lobes of the brain to talk more about the math and science department here. On the left, our math classes are aligned to the New Jersey state standards. Grade level courses are highlighted, so Math 7 and 7th grade is the typical sequence for 7th graders. Math 8 and 8th grade is on level for 8th graders. There are also opportunities for accelerated courses, which means it moves just a little bit quicker, a little more rigorous. An accelerated Math 7 for 7th grade, and then Algebra 1 in 8th grade. That middle school algebra course curriculum mirrors the 9th grade algebra course curriculum, and they cover the same topics there. We also offer ways to support students in their math education, recognizing that some students do struggle in certain areas through our academic support. And we'll dive a little bit deeper into all of the different ways that you can explore different math pathways here and then beyond at LMS over to LHS. In science, our whole building focuses on one area of science each year, and it kind of flip-flops. Next year, 7th and 8th grade, we'll be focusing in on physical science, which really starts to explore some of those physics concepts that students might be exposed to up at the high school in very engaging ways. This year, we're kind of diving into life science, which will come back when your students are meeting 8th grade. So exploring that physical science focus just a little bit more, these are some of the topics that will be covered over the course of next school year for our 7th and 8th graders, with matter, forces, thermal energy, waves, how those things interact, the features, the characteristics. And students really explore these in hands-on activities in the classroom. So they're using different manipulatives, they're making things work in the classroom and exploring how they work. They're creating those claims and hypotheses and really getting the evidence to reason as they go through what may happen if they manipulate different variables within that experiment. Students do a lot of reflective and scientific writing in these courses, so there is a literacy component that's based in that discipline. And they really explore those through continual use of things like the CER, which your students are familiar with from LIS, and doing that argument-driven inquiry model of exploring big picture questions through the things that they do in class. Moving on to our math program at LMS, we're really excited to be adopting the Desmos Classroom program, and I'm giving you just a little bit of a preview here on this page. But it is an interactive platform that students really get to manipulate some of the features in a math program and see how those manipulations of different variables or different features might affect outcomes. So a little bit of a scientific approach to a math problem where you're really exploring deep conceptual understanding. So rather than kind of repeating back what a teacher might show you with the process without really understanding why it works, students dive deeper into those math problems and are therefore able to replicate it on any type of problem by applying that knowledge that they've learned. It is inquiry-based, so they're asking questions about those math problems and kind of taking a look at data or graphs or charts or equations and saying, you know, this is what I notice about it, and here are some questions that I have that I'd like to explore deeper. It is a digital and paper-based resource, so it's not just on the computer, it's not just paper, it is a blend, but the computer resources that support all of the paper practice that they're doing and the conversations that they're having in class do allow for that interactivity to be able to manipulate things in real time. We're also really excited about this program because it's top rated by Ed Reports, and we had a lot of achievement data come out of that, where we're supporting the teachers in how to really roll this out effectively for your students. On the right, you see just a bit of a sample problem that comes out of the digital resource of this program, where students are learning about slope in a very relatable way. As they move through these equations and learning about how points on a graph can kind of really manipulate the rise over run of a slope equation, they're trying to land a plane pretty effectively down a runway that they can move. As they move through this unit, they're able to create their own problems to challenge their peers in solving what is the slope that's going to land the plane well on that runway. So we spoke of, go back one there. A little bit before about the different pathways offered at LMS in math. In 6th grade, students are in Math 6 and Math 6 Accelerated. This is mirrored very well at LMS in the pathways that we take. Each year, students have different ways to go into, I feel like I'm squeaking a little bit, different pathways through the math courses offered. So just because your student is in one course does not mean they're necessarily tracked in a certain pathway across the 3 years from 6th, 7th to 8th grade. But we really use data to see where a student will be successful and pushed to meet them at the level that they're at in any given year. So I do a lot of diving into students' math data every year and looking at things like their iReady scores, their grades, their testing. I get to know your kids really, really well on paper. And usually when I see them, and some faces I notice just from visiting LIS and being in the math and science classrooms down there, it's nice when I finally get to put faces to names in classrooms when I get to visit. So when we talk math placement, on level, the sequence is to move from that Math 6 to Math 7 in 7th grade. Some of your children will go from Math 6 to Math 7 Accelerated. Some of your children will even go from Math 6 Accelerated to Math 7 Accelerated. We like to put kids where we know they're going to be challenged at the level they're at, but also find success. We do this by really, again, diving deep into that data. So I've already started looking at all of your children's data stories and where their successes have been in math this year through their trimester grades, through iReady and looking at their numbers and operations and algebraic reasoning, because those are the skills that they're really going to focus in on through 7th and 8th grade as students move towards algebra. Teacher recommendation, administrator recommendation, and any other pieces in there that we kind of see. There is no required summer math packet. A lot of districts will have a big packet of 20 pages of problems upon problems upon problems. If your child likes to do those things, there are plenty that you can find online. However, because we want students to have that continued summer practice, continued exposure, when we think about reading over the summer, reading is everywhere. We kind of sit at the breakfast table and we can read a cereal box, or we're reading signs. It's very natural in our lives. With math, sometimes you just have to be a little more intentional. So we like to support families over the summer in how to be intentional about bringing math to your everyday lives. If you ever follow me on Twitter, I did this just for New Jersey STEM Month in the month of March, just looking at things that you observe in your everyday life and almost creating math problems out of them to engage in that dialogue. But we will be using a summer resource page, which is a web page that throughout the summer I'll post different activities that you can do with your child can explore on their own, and it will start preparing them for getting ready for that Desmos curriculum that they're going to see in class. So a lot of engagement, a lot of problems that they're gonna have to think critically about. And I tell kids, sometimes if you feel stuck and you're not sure if you know the math through a problem, you think of it as just a problem to solve or a puzzle to solve. And by removing that math, you might have the tools to be able to solve something even if you haven't learned how to yet. And that's okay, because it's really that critical thinking. We also have a lot of our platforms that students are just used to over the years, things like IXL, things like iReady, that they can offer or they can access over the summer. And a lot of those platforms release summer practice that you can do on your own, but we do not have a required assignment that students are accountable for.
All right, so just for timing purposes, I'll just give you a general overview of what you can expect with our health and phys ed program. So as you already know, we run on trimesters, so our health classes and phys ed classes will meet 3 times throughout the school year. So they switch about halfway through each trimester. So the topics that we have for 7th grade, we'll review nutrition, personal growth, community health and first aid, and then alcohol, tobacco, and other drugs. Moving into 8th grade, we'll talk about wellness, community health, and human relationships and sexuality. All right, our phys ed program, it is very well versed. Our health department does a phenomenal job just providing a wide variety of different activities, whether it be team sports, individualized sports, engaging that based upon their comfortability, which is so important. So if you walk into, a badminton lesson, you may see 2 courts going on. You may have a competitive court and then another court that might be just a little bit more recreational, just for leisure fun. Okay, so that's basically our health and phys ed overview. Our athletes, okay, this is super important. If you plan on doing a fall sport, okay, tentatively, we're looking to start fall sports on September 11th, okay, Monday, September 11th. What's really important about this overall process is making sure that your physical is turned into our school nurse prior to that. Okay, earlier the better. Okay, there are other steps that need to go through registration. Our nursing staff does a really great job of outlining that for you. So again, if it's a little confusing, which in the beginning, if this is new to you, feel free, you can call me anytime. Our nurse, Miss Regan, does a great job too communicating that. Registration.
You register your child for the activity that they're going to be in.
Yes. There you go. Just looking at our overall athletic program, what we offer in the fall, winter, and then the spring. Okay, so for fall, we're looking at boys and girls soccer, field hockey, and then we have a no-cut policy with our cross-country team. Okay, again, that physical really does need to be in whether it's a no-cut policy or not. Okay, so I can't stress that anymore. Winter sports, we do offer basketball, cheerleading, and wrestling. Spring, we do boys and girls track, also a no-cut policy. as well as softball and baseball, okay? And then periodically throughout the year in the wintertime, and even in the fall actually, we'll offer basketball. Wintertime after basketball season has concluded, we'll offer volleyball, and then we'll switch back to basketball. So we have that opportunity 2 days a week. Again, physical paperwork does need to be submitted for those as well. Okay, so some co-curricular activities. So throughout the school year, you'll find that we really do, going off our housing system, we try to really incorporate spirit days throughout the entire school year, which is really fun. So every 6 weeks or so, Dr. Miloski, is that correct? Every 6 weeks, we will do house relay events. We did a pie throwing contest where our students had the opportunity to pie some of our staff members. So we have a wide array. Go ahead, I'm sorry. You're good? Okay, yep. Yeah, so just to give you an overview of what we do throughout the school year as well. All right. Student Council also hosts a number of events throughout the school year, and we do those during the school day. We've had a dance in the past, which we'll be doing again this upcoming school year. So, yeah, lots of events going on throughout the school year.
We want kids to make the most of their opportunities here, right?
Yes.
Try something different. Encourage your child to find something that they want to do or go to something. Be involved. School is much more fun when you're involved,
Yes.
right? Everyone belongs in something. They will be instantly part of the house. Their responsibility is on house please to wear their shirts. All right, so make sure that they're wearing your shirts on house color day, anything orange day. You can get points. We have a house club, and everybody needs to participate. That's what makes it fun.
And when you come for orientation in August, at the end of August, that's when you'll be given your house shirt. So everybody does receive a house shirt. Like Dr. Miloski said, on Fridays, if you earn your star ticket, so if you're caught for doing something good, we try to recognize each other's greatness. So if we do catch those acts of kindness, or whatever it is that your student or your child is exemplifying, at the end of the week, they have the opportunity to win some prizes too.
All right, so I don't know why we still have that arrow there. That's from before, but this is the website, right? So you're going to find lots of different things. I apologize to the people that are watching online. My computer decided to upgrade in the middle of the program, right at the most important part when Ms. Foster was on. So I apologize if you missed that part, but we will be posting whatever we can put together from this presentation. We will post. You'll be able to find things here, right? There's quick links. In the quick links, you'll find lots of different things. This is a little bit older, so they're this actual snapshot. But you'll see, this is a Pretzel Friday. Kids getting star tickets, they're winning. In the middle center is usually the announcements are right at top, whatever is the most important thing, and then lots of things in the center of the announcements, but lots of tabs on the top to go to. We don't use teacher pages anymore. All right, I used to have parents that used to shop for teachers on teacher pages and see how great the teacher page was. We don't use them anymore because we're in Google Classroom. All right, so you're not going to see anything really there, but you'll see the names as our staff. Pretty much in our school, you'll see lots of different things. But it's really on the main page is all the stuff. On that quick links, that's where you'll see the LMS athletics. So if you need all the registration information will be there, and you can contact our nurse for that. This was the fast hour quick view. The next slide, as you just heard Dr. Wasserleben say, we will be having an orientation. It's usually the last Tuesday or Wednesday in August. We will be putting a save the date out very soon for you. When we put out that list for you to sign up to meet with us, and we're going to give that orientation. Like I said, we will have another orientation on June 9th with your kids to talk about lots of things. And then in the summer, we will have another orientation for kids. That's when they'll get to walk around. They'll get to try out their lockers. We'll have tours of the building, all of that. We will have an open house. The open house is exactly what it is. There will not be any staff here giving anything formal. You'll be able to walk around the building, check out your child's locker, walk the schedule with them. I'm going to tell you, you're going to get a schedule and you're not going to be able to read it. It's okay. They will figure it out. Your child will figure it out. We will help them. Right? They're going to come in, they're going to be nervous. That's okay. All of them are nervous. We're nervous. It's the first day. We're excited. Okay? So don't go crazy at home trying to figure out how does the schedule work and help. We'll do all of that when they get here. They just need to know where their period 1 is. We also post it on the wall when they come in, and we help them figure out where to go. Okay? We don't just blindfold them and say walk around and find the room. All right, that would be fun, but we don't do that. Okay? This is now, if you have to leave because you have to go to something else, you have to go to the concert next door, you got to go anywhere you have to go, you can head out. If you have questions, we're going to take a few questions. If you think it's a question that's personal, hold it. We'll be here. We can answer your personal questions as well. So the floor is open if you have questions now. Yeah. Yes, they can do that. Yes, yeah. If they, the point of what the question was is that the transportation, the way they come to school, they have to go home. So mom just asked if she drives him into school in the morning, but he gets a bus. He can take the bus home. Yeah, that's fine. The issue is that if he's going to go with someone else, right? Like then you have to let us know that. Because then sometimes you'll forget where is my kid supposed to be, and if they don't know that they have to go home on the bus, right? So if they don't get a bus, they can't get on somebody else's bus, is really what I mean by that. I saw a hand back here, yes?
The sporting activities after school, what time do practices start?
Good question, because I forgot to tell you that part. So they start right after school at 2:30. They're going to go down to the locker room. They're going to get outside, and let me just tell you, this is like the big hiccup, right? Since COVID, we have problems with late getting buses at after school. So games do not start till 4 o'clock. Yeah, we get out at 2:25, and games do not start till 4 o'clock. However, we might not be able to get a bus, so sometimes, like today, I think they left at 1:45. To go to, you ready for this? Fisher, which is in Ewing. And for a game that started at 4 o'clock. Yeah. It sounds funny, but it's really not funny. So the answer to your question is practices 2:30 to 4:30 traditionally. That's when they practice. Basketball usually has a little bit of a different schedule because the girls and the boys are sharing a gym. So you'll get a schedule from the coaches. Sometimes there'll be early practice, late practice. So they might be done at 4, and then one group might be done at 4, the other group might be done at 4:30. We only have a late bus on Tuesdays and Thursdays. And it picks up at 4 o'clock. So if you're in sports, it's not going to work. All right? It's not for sports. It's usually for clubs and activities, detention. That's what the late bus is for. There is one late bus for middle school and high school. They must sign up by 12 o'clock to get on the late bus. We remind them, we have it in the cafeteria, we remind them there to sign up if they're having an activity. Sometimes they forget, so you might want to call the office and make sure they signed up, because if they don't sign up, they will not let them on the late bus. Because they plan their route of where they need to go. The late bus, as you can imagine, there's people that live by Quaker Bridge Mall, right? There's people that live by Halo. It's going all of those places. So it could be an hour-and-a-half ride. All right, just putting it out there on that. We encourage you to carpool, share rides, all of those things. Does that answer your question for that? Yes, back here.
So, if you're an accelerated 1 year, could you be in the regular?
Yes, good question. He said if he was an accelerated 1 year, could you be in the regular math 8 the next year? Yes. Why would you think that could happen? You didn't work hard, right? didn't take it seriously. That could maybe be the reason why you might have to go to Math 8 from Math 7 Accelerated. All right, or, you know, it may be just maybe we made a mistake and we might not have placed you right either. So we would work together on that. But we're gonna help you be successful so that doesn't happen. Yes?
How many blocks do we have?
How many what?
Blocks or periods?
Oh, the periods in the day. There are 5 periods in the day. However, you have 4. One of those is your lunch flex period. So you have a 30-minute lunch and a 30-minute flex period. During the flex period, 7th graders were working on executive functioning skills. So we're working on organization, or we're working on working memory. We're trying to get them organized, right? So we have a curriculum that we work on, and we do that with our 7th graders. Next year, since our 7th graders had it already, we're going to be doing some of our community service, cardinal time activities, character ed things in our flex period for the 8th grade year. Yes? 82 minutes. Oh my gosh. Work on the focus now. See, now it's good that you came tonight. You're going to be able to practice. Yes. Why is the time 82 and not 85? There's some that are, the lunches are 63. There's things that change. But we only have so much time in the day. So just imagine, if I told Miss Foster, she's the math teacher, and I said, you get 82 minutes. But I told Miss Dr. Pankos, English isn't that important, you can have 45. How would that go over? They will not be my friend anymore, right? So that's why everybody has to have 82 minutes. Yes? We do not. If you like to read, though, we will set you up and we can accelerate you as fast as you want. We have a great library with lots of great books, but we don't have leveled language arts classes. The only leveled class that we have is mathematics. When you get to high school, there'll be levels when you get to high school for language arts, social studies, all the things, even foreign languages. Yes? Homework? So homework is, what's the percentage? 10%. So homework is 10% of the student's grade. There are going to be classes that you're going to get that there's going to be no homework. Right? There's some teachers that they just may not give homework. They might give you home learning. They might have you pre-read something, but you're not going to necessarily get a grade for it. So you're preparing for class, right? Because it's every other day, right? So you might need to look over your notes. You might have to take notes from your notes or read something and take notes. But it might not always be graded. Students should not be doing a lot of homework. They should not have 4 hours of homework. If you're getting, a child is coming home and they're doing 4 hours of homework, there's a problem. If your child is coming home and doing math for an hour, there's a problem with that, right? So either, it's a couple things. One, they didn't do anything in class, right? So now they have to do it for homework. Two, they're struggling to understand the material and they are just trying to practice. Or three, they're just they just want to learn more, right? So they're just diving in and they're studying. So there's lots of different reasons for it, but if they really shouldn't be working more than an hour, maybe an hour and a half, if that, to be honest. If there's going to be nights they're going to have nothing. That's okay with you. Good, I like that. Because some people are like, no, they need to have homework. As you heard Ms. Foster say, like, we need to have a life, right? It's all great to have work. Yes, there's lots of great to have work, but we need to have a life too. We have to have life balance. Yes? So what do you mean by an orientation of electronics? So they already have laptops. All the kids have laptops because they got them, what year did they get them now? Oh, we go over proper use. So Every single day I go over proper use, okay? So we start off the morning. The morning is, at this, I say good morning to everybody over the loudspeaker, and I'm like, at this time you need to put your cell phones, they need to be off and in the bin. So we changed our policy. We're still debating if we're going to keep that policy, to be honest. It maybe go back to, it needs to be off and in your locker and not on your person at all. Now, when I say that, there's parents that get very worried about that, right? Because they get scared because there's been a lot of bad things that have happened in schools. And so then they want to be able to get to their child. I'm going to tell you right now, if something bad happens, you're not getting to your child on the cell phone, right? So that we got to kind of have to step away from that, as hard as it may be, right? But for us, if they have their, at this time, today, it may be different when we start in September, but at this time, their cell phone must be off and in a bin in the classroom. And then as the period is over, they can grab the cell phone and go to the next class. They all have a computer. You should not be calling them during the day, right? They don't drive. There's not, nothing's important, that's important. If it's so important, call the office, we'll get them down, they can get on their cell phone in the office and call you. All right, if you email, you can email them, right? They should be checking their email at some point during the day. But if you need to get in touch with them, you should call the office, right? They should not be going into the bathroom and calling you, because the phone should not be on their person. It should be in the bin at all times in the classroom. And then they take it each class. No one's looking at their phone. I don't want to know your business. Unfortunately, I do know your business. I'm just going to tell you, there's a lot of times people share their business, and they share their business because they write in the emails, and I get the, when they say things that are inappropriate online through their email, because the computer belongs to us, right? So I get a filter. I don't want to see it, but sometimes I have to see it. And I'm very private. I will not share that unless it's a danger to self and others. Okay? And their cell phones, no one's going through their cell phones. Unless it's something that we've had some kind of something, our rules are different than police rules, right? So if it's, again, danger to self and others, we definitely need to see what's on the phone. Or if they are spreading things that are inappropriate, and then we have to confiscate the phone too. Yeah. We're going to go through all the class schedule. We'll do our next orientation, but it is an A-B schedule, 1 through 5. They have 5 classes on an A day. They have 4 classes on an A day, 4 classes on a B day. Yes. In a classroom. For the what? The gifted and talented. All right, so the first question is, how many kids are in a class? So anywhere, it all depends, right? So our resource room classes, those are based on an IEP. So those can be our small classes that are no larger than 9. If there is more than 9, then we have to, by law, put an 8 in those rooms. So that's our special ed resource rooms. If it is a academic class, one of our 4 core areas, it could be anywhere between 20 kids in a class to 28, maybe 29, depending on the number of size class that we have. I have 4 social studies teachers and 4 science teachers for 600 kids. So your science and social studies classes are going to be larger than your math and your English classes. We tend to, math 7 classes usually are the smallest classes, and our math 8 classes are pretty small too. Yeah. Oh, wait, you had another question, which is G&T. So G&T is the same for the entire district. You get letters in the summer. That's a district thing. It comes out and there's criteria for G&T, and you can reach out to Miss Musi, who's the Slackwood principal. She is in charge of G&T. So she can give, I don't want to tell you something that's not right about all of the criteria. Most likely if they qualified at LAS, they most likely will continue on here unless there's some glaring score or they didn't get recommended. Yes. No. So the question was, can you use your phone at lunch? No, not in middle school. All right, they are not allowed to use their phone during the day. They can have it on them if they need it to call you when they get out of school, or if there's an emergency that we need to get in touch with you, because a lot of times we might call you, you don't answer, but I have the kid next to me and they use their cell phone, you answer. That's a good thing. But so they, there are times that they may need to use their cell phone. Yeah. Good question. So math placement, we will be sending out the last week of June. So you will know, you'll get a letter with all of the criteria. It also will give you directions if you would like to challenge that placement. So there's a way to challenge the placement, and it gives you directions on how to do that. The student's schedule will not come out until, I want to say around August 23rd, whatever that Friday is, before we have the orientation. So whatever the last week in August is, before the orientation is usually a Wednesday. It's usually the Friday before that, if not maybe the Monday, because we all live in Lawrence, the mail comes out pretty quick. So it's not going to be in the mail, it's on Genesis. So once Genesis opens, it'll be available. So it could be the Monday before, it could be the Friday before. To be honest, it all depends on how much I get done in the summer. I do every single kid's schedule here. I look through it a million times, over and over again, hopefully, so when they come in, we don't have to make a change, right? Like everything is correct. Obviously I make mistakes. I am no way near perfect, but I try to make it as smooth a transition as possible. The thing about the houses, as I was saying before, we don't necessarily honor legacy houses. We do what's best fit for your child. Right? So you're gonna tell me something about your child, I'm gonna look at their makeup of the academic, and I'm gonna place them. I'm pretty good at it. I'll pat myself on the back about it, and we've had a lot of success. So, but if there's a certain situation that you need to talk to me about, just reach out to me, okay? Yes. I'm gonna take one more after this, and then we'll do private. Go ahead. I don't think anybody uses a Scantron here. They probably do some at the high school, but I would say no here that we're not doing Scantron. There was somebody in the back that had, but she looks like she's getting her answer, so. It's probably, don't quote me on that. It could be then. It could be then. I don't know. I haven't set the date yet. I haven't looked at the calendar yet because we haven't set it. We usually organize with the high school, so we're not overlapping them. Or we do want to overlap then, so it will come out in the next couple weeks. We'll put the date out to you. Yeah, we'll communicate it. All right, if you have individual questions, you can, please feel free to come up. We are at our hour and 15-minute mark, so I want to keep it to what I said I was going to. If you have any questions, again, feel free. Thank you for coming tonight.